The people who want it talk about Brexit being the reclaiming of sovereignty, but it's come at a significant and some would argue an unnecessary expense, particularly as evidenced today in reports from Kent, a county that has become emblematic of the logistical nightmares stemming from UK's departure from the European Union. If you want to go across the channel, if you want to send things or buy things, it all comes through Kent. And the Financial Times today highlights a pressing issue: the businesses and the customs agents that have been charged for border inspections that never occurred, resulting in widespread frustration, financial strain on small and medium-sized enterprises. And the situation is not merely an administrative oversight, but a manifestation of a deeper systemic problem that is essentially summed up by one word: Brexit. Problems that are likely to persist and evolve: Brexit and corruption and absurdity. It's all there unless substantial change is made. The Sevington border inspection facility in Kent, where these problems are concentrated, is a focal point for criticism. A design flaw in the inspection bay, which prevents the unloading of consignments, alongside a contingency feature that clears goods after 2 hours to prevent port congestion, has led to businesses being charged for services they never received. It's more than just bureaucratic inefficiency. It represents a failure in planning and execution at a critical juncture in UK-EU trade relations. Steve Habershaw, a customs agent, encapsulates the frustration of many when he describes the situation at Sevington as chaotic. Of course it's chaotic. This chaos has real-world consequences: higher costs for businesses that are already grappling with the complexities of post-Brexit trade regulations, costs that will be likely passed on to customers in the form of higher prices, exacerbating the cost-to-living crisis. And the financial burden on businesses is substantial. The common user charge, introduced to cover the operating costs of the Sevington facility, has already imposed tens of thousands of pounds in additional expenses on some companies. The horticultural sector, for example, has been particularly hard hit. Sally Cullimore of the Horticultural Trade Association points out a single small business received a bill of £27,000 for just 3 months of border checks, a sum that represents around 7% of its overall profits. It's an untenable situation for many small businesses, which are the backbone of the UK economy. And is this regaining sovereignty? It's bankrupting people. And the additional administrative burden cannot be understated. Hunpro, a small importer of Hungarian foods, had to increase its staff by 20% just to manage the paperwork associated with the new checks, incurring an extra £8,000 of charges. This is a stark illustration of how Brexit has created new, insurmountable hurdles for businesses that had previously enjoyed frictionless trade with the EU. Looking forward, the situation in Kent is a microcosm of the broader challenges facing the UK as it navigates its post-Brexit reality. The current Labour government has indicated a desire to secure a veterinary agreement with Brussels that could alleviate some of these burdens, particularly by reducing the need for border inspections on plant and animal products. However, this is not a panacea. The deep-seated issues related to border management, trade, friction, regulatory divergence will continue to pose significant challenges because Brexit hasn't been reversed. And critically, the cost of these new barriers to trade is not limited to finance. There's a growing sense of disillusion among businesses that were promised a seamless transition and new opportunities post-Brexit under the Gove Johnson optimism. Instead, they're facing increased costs, reduced efficiency, and a labyrinth of regulations that complicate rather than simplify their operations. Peter Hardwick of the British Meat Processors Association aptly describes the situation when he criticised the Port Health Authority charges at Sevington, where the overwhelming majority of goods are never physically inspected. His comment that this really takes the biscuit reflects the broader sentiment of exasperation and dismay. The problems in Kent are symptomatic of the broader issues of Brexit. They illustrate how the vision of a liberated sovereign Britain has collided with the practical realities of international trade and border management and people on the take. As the UK moves forward, it must confront these challenges head-on, seeking not only to mitigate the immediate financial impacts but also to rethink its approach to post-Brexit trade and regulation. Without substantial reforms and a more pragmatic approach to its relationship with the EU, the unnecessary expenses, the operational chaos currently witnessed in Kent will become the new normal, to the detriment of businesses and consumers alike, to the detriment of our country.